I started thinking about death, the day I became aware, sitting on the sofa, watching a show called The Brain Office. The show host was talking about the universe and galaxies. Gigantic gas clouds and infinity. The void of darkness scared me. He said that in a few billion years, our own sun would devour everything in the solar system. There was no salvation. There was no rescue. Just pure and cold facts, reality hitting me like a slap in the face. It was no ordinary slap, but an ice cold rush that pulsated through the entire body. Or so it felt inside the skull. Somewhere inside the synapses, my consciousness driven into madness. My entire being tried to find a way out from the inevitable. At some point in there, among billions of electronic pulses, a universe of its own, it was felt. But the point moved, or it could never be grasped. It hurt knowing I was going to die. I was laying with the demons at night. The anxiety in the body, and the fear of extinguishing the light with my eyelids, the fear of never waking up again. I could not distinguish between dreams and reality. I woke up from the chaotic dreamland and realized that I was alive. The light outside made me feel safe. But I knew that the sun would eventually have to set again, and I knew that when darkness and the moon visited again, the demons would return, all my memories from dreams I had and may not have had. How do I really know what I have experienced? A strong memory I have, which I am convinced has happened, is the memory that refuses to leave me. It fascinates me that we are so fluid. We all wander safely to death, but we die and are reborn already on the road until that last moment before meaninglessness wins. All the thoughts we think that just flows through us. We grasp awkwardly at them. As good friends and lovers we want to keep those fantastic meaningful building blocks that we have constructed. Somehow the emotions remain by being transformed and constantly in motion. But the words to describe them, the thoughts, they just die and die and die. The memory of walking on a road outside my first school, my first home, the home in the suburbs. During the last year at the school I went outside and looked up at the bright blue sky. Often when I looked up at the sky when I was younger, I was afraid of falling down. All the hours of the brain office, and reading books about space and gravity, really made me afraid of losing my footing, and falling down, or up, into space. I also remember that in my dreams, I started to float upwards, like a helium balloon, and panicked when I knew that I would eventually reach a height that would kill me from the cold and lack of oxygen. In other dreams, I held balloons. They were of different colors and were filled with helium. I grabbed the balloon strings and started flying upwards. Even then, I knew I was going to die and I had to do something. I punched holes in the balloons one at a time to be able to stop drifting upwards. I think the dream somehow reminded me that I was about to die. Life happened in front of me and the age numbers rose day after day, just as I traveled further and further up in the sky. But in dreams, you always wake up, even when you die. Yes, usually the most effective way to wake up is to die, so I looked up at the blue sky outside the school, on my way home. And I sent a thought, a feeling and a thought into the future. I thought very hard. I decided, or I realize now, that was what I was doing. By thinking hard, I decided. I thought that one day in the future I will no longer be what I was then. It will be an adult or older person who remembers this moment. I was so convinced. The whole body vibrated with meaning. I will remember, I said to myself. I will think back on this. This memory has come back to me so many times that I hardly know where it started or ended, or if it was even for real or if it was a dream. It's kind of timeless. And I know it will be with me until the day I lie there on my deathbed. However it may be bedded, no matter how old I will be and if I will even have a chance to remember that moment one last time, I see myself, a silhouette walking along the road. In memory, everything is so simple and stripped down. Like a drawing. The memory is so beautiful in the feeling and not in the details. Only I have the feeling, but I know we have all felt it. It is universal, it lives through time. I look up at the clear blue sky that wants to devour me. A clear blue sky that also hides a pitch black darkness that spreads towards infinity. A small dot went there along the road. And now walks along other roads. I knew I would remember. But I knew nothing about who I would be then when I would remember. And I have thought back on that day so many times, through so many different filters, days, thoughts and feelings. But I also realize that every day, every step I take, is that walk outside of school, that it is precisely the school, reminds me that I am constantly evolving. I live and die constantly in symbiosis with time. I remember back. I look forward, but I'm powerless. I do not know anything. But I know everything. Until the day when only memories remain and no new ones are created. The moment when the consciousness leaves me. Then death takes me. In between these points, the total sentence before the meaningless. The last, present.